The year is 962. The Holy Roman Empire rises from the ashes of fractured kingdoms, a realm of ambition, faith, and steel. Lords and nobles vie for power, forging alliances and waging wars to shape the destiny of Europe. In this crucible of history, every decision echoes across generations. Will you build a legacy of prosperity, or will your empire crumble beneath the weight of rivals and rebellion? This is not merely a game of conquest. It is a saga of dynasties, of castles and cathedrals, of armies marching beneath banners that proclaim your vision of order. In Dark Ages, Holy Roman Empire, you step into the role of a ruler whose choices will define the fate of nations. The board is your battlefield, the piece is your people, and the story, yours to write. Prepare to enter an age where faith and ambition collide, where the empire itself is yours to command. Welcome to the Dark Ages.
Hello friends, this is Keith, and thank you for stopping by the Solo Gamers Club. Tonight, we set our sights on the turbulent heart of 10th century Europe, an age where ambition, cunning, and strategy decide the fate of nations. I'll be stepping into the role of Bertold, Count of Carinthia, guiding my barony through trials and triumphs as I strive to forge the most powerful and influential realm in all of Europe as we play Dark Ages, Holy Roman Empire. For this campaign, I'm weaving in 2 expansions. We're going to be using Module 3, Grand Buildings, and Module 13A, Travels of Benjamin. The Grand Buildings module introduces 4 new culture cards, granting us and our rivals the chance to raise monumental works of architecture, the wonders that will echo through history. With the Travels of Benjamin module, we're going to be drawing upon the journeys of Benjamin ben Jonah of Tudela, whose explorations carried him across Italy, Greece, Palestine, Persia, Mesopotamia, Arabia, Egypt, and even to the distant frontiers of China. The collected knowledge of his travels may now enrich our paths to greatness. Our opposition comes in the form of 3 formidable leaders, collectively known as the Lordlings, brought to life through a brilliant solo design by David Terzi. Our opponents include Marozia, Lady of Tuscany, the Centrix of Rome, a woman of immense influence in medieval Italy. Then we have Burkhard II, Duke of Swabia, a decisive figure in the shaping of early medieval Germany. And finally, we have Henry the Fowler, Duke of Saxony. He's the founder of the Ottonian dynasty, whose legacy laid the foundations of the medieval German kingdom. Now, this is going to be a playthrough video, and if you'd like to learn how to set up and play the solo version of the game, I'll provide a link to a video that I previously recorded on the channel. But take note though that I made an oversight on one area in that teaching video, and that regards battle resolution. Battle strength is the level of the unit times the number of units, not the hit points of the units. So it's always the level, so just keep that in mind if you are deciding to watch that video. Other than that, I think I've managed to convey the rules properly in that video. Now, let's take a look at the initial offerings on the culture display. Our first offer is a great building, Dona Castle. Historically, the castle overlooked the Mühlglitz River Valley, offering views of Saxon Switzerland's rugged cliffs and forested hills. This grand building can be constructed for 3 stone, and it offers the immediate improvement of 3 levels of a keep. Very powerful. In addition, it facilitates the settling of neighboring provinces, allowing the construction of farms at the lowest settling cost. And up next in our offer is a Raider card, Reinforce. All right, when these Raider cards appear on the offer, we need to follow what it says on the card. And it says here, when added to the culture roll, we have to roll a d20. So let's do that. All right, here is our d20 roll. Result is a 10, and that is to add a Raider. Okay, we're going to consult our player aid, and we'll see what is to be placed. So we'll consult our player aid, and we need a unit type selection, so we'll be rolling another d20. The result is a 5, and that's going to be an infantry. So we're going to add an infantry to the Raider display. All right, the Magyar Raiders are beginning the game with an infantry and a cavalry formation, and we'll be adding an additional infantry to their total. Our next offer is a cognomen card. All right, and this cognomen card is the Saint. A cognomen is a name or title that serves to distinguish a person, such as Peter the Great. In this case, it's the Saint. And if we acquire this, we can receive 3 victory points if we control at least 1 church. If all of our provinces contain a church, we're going to gain 3 victory points per church instead. So that's going to be pretty tough to acquire, but it would be very valuable to us. If the lordlings acquire the card, they will earn 5 victory points. In our next draw is a military upgrade for either infantry or longbowmen. In this case, the infantry will be the most likely result because it is a level 2 card. That's going to raise the level of our infantry to 2 and will allow our infantry to hit during melee combat on a 4+ rather than a 5+. If the lordlings acquire the card, instead of using what is printed on the card, we're going to make a roll on our player aid and we will upgrade the indicated unit type. Next up is a Travels of Benjamin card. If we can acquire this card, it will initially give us 1 wood or 1 victory point. If the lordlings acquire it, they will gain a victory point for each card of this type that they have collected, and any additional cards, meaning they collect 1 victory point for the first, 2 for the second, 3 for the third, and so on. And our final offer is a common technology called strategic planning, allowing us to initially gain 2 victory points instead of performing a kick-out action. The lordlings will collect common technologies but will not employ their benefits, but they will add to one of the endgame conditions. Now let's take a look at the current strategic situation on the map. The lands of Central Europe are rich with resources including 3 iron, 5 stone, 5 leather, and 7 wood, the raw materials with which empires rise and fall. We begin the game controlling one of 3 iron production locations on the map. Although iron will be more useful later in the campaign, it is important that we maintain access to this critical resource. The provinces surrounding Carinthia consist of Carniola, Austria, Bavaria, and Verona. Austria and Carniola will be the least expensive to settle, but the province of Verona will give us access to stone and will serve as a block to Marozia's expansion from Tuscany. As it stands now, I'm more inclined to have our first acquisition be Austria. It's going to give us greater access at gaining that title card, Duchy of Carinthia, which will be worth 7 victory points, and it will also give us access to, indirectly, to stone in Moravia and lumber or wood in Bohemia. Now, per the solo rules, the lordlings will be taking the first action, and we've placed one of their nobles in the exhausted noble supply to account for this. We've randomly determined the order of our actions, and we have research followed by building, recruit, development of culture, and finally maneuver. And those will directly relate to the kick-out actions listed below. For the sake of convenience, I've placed all of our buildings, dice, gold, resources, and cities and keeps into some planning trays, and that'll be a little easier for me to shift around the board while I'm filming. Incidentally, I just wanted to show the viewers some of these grand building models that the game comes with. There's 6 of them in the game. We'll be playing with 4 of them. And just some very beautifully crafted buildings that are going to make the game look very nice on the table. If I can find the time, eventually I'm going to paint these. And I think eventually I'm going to paint the cities and towers and just kind of give them a little extra uniqueness that I think is going to make the game look very, very nice. Although we're not using them in this playthrough, the game also comes with 5 commanders models. And that is for Module 6, commanders. And these are historical military commanders from the period that the module allows you to bring into the game. So the lordlings are going to begin the game with 3 farms already deployed on the map, giving them a supply level of 5. So they're ready now to begin their first turn, and we're going to draw one of the AI cards and see what action they will take. And their first action is persevere. Okay, well, if it's the first card drawn, draw another and reshuffle this card instead. So we will do that. We'll set aside the persevere card for right now. Draw another card. And they have drawn development of culture. They're going to take the rightmost accessible culture card. All right. And so we place one of the lordling nobles on the development of culture action. Now this is a very interesting mechanism in the game. You have to remember that this is a feudal system. We are the regent, and we have, in this case, a selection of 6 nobles that have pledged fealty to us. So when we place these tokens on the action display, we're giving them a command, and they are executing that command that we desire. So it's a very thematically linked mechanism to the game, and I really enjoy that. Well, the rightmost accessible culture card for them is Dona Castle. So, the lordlings are going to take the Dona Castle card. That's going to award them, instead of doing what's on the card, they instantly get 5 victory points. So we slide these cards down, and we're going to draft another card, and this one is another Travels of Benjamin. So the lordlings have struck first, and they have built Dona Castle, earning them 5 victory points. So we will advance them to 5 victory points, and victory points in this game is everything. The victory points, even 1 victory point, can be the difference in winning or losing this solo game. So that's a big hit for us to start out with. And now we have to shuffle in that Persevere card that we originally drew. We'll shuffle that back into the deck, and the deck will be ready for their next action. And now, as the Lordlings have taken their turn, it is our turn. And with the developments of that development of culture action that they took, that moved this Reinforce card into position 1. So that nearly forces us to take that card. And the reason being is if this card is either taken by the Lordlings or it falls off the end of the display, it's going to give them an upgrade to their raiders, and we don't want that to happen. If we do take the card, we can play it from our hand and discard it in a battle. That'll give us a +1 die modifier. So it's not what I would have liked to have done, but I think we're going to probably have to do that to prevent that from falling into enemy hands, as it were. So I think our first action is going to be a development of culture action as well. So we've got 2 discs there now. If a 3rd disc is placed there, the Lordlings are going to get a kick-out action, either taking wood or leather or a recruit action. But I think we need to do it. So we are going to claim this Reinforce card, and we're going to add that to our hand. We can always have a total of 10 cards in our hand. If we acquire an 11th or greater, we have to discard down to a 10 card maximum. So now these cards are going to slide, and we're going to reveal another card. This one is a relic, the Shroud of Turin. You may build a level of keep in this same province as the church for free. Now these relic cards can be played from our hand when we build a church, and that's how those are played. If the Lordlings acquire a relic, they're going to gain 5 victory points. These are the cards that we currently have in our hand now. We picked up that Reinforce card, which will give us we can discard that during a battle and gain a +1 die modifier. We also have level 2 Heavy Crossbowman, and this is a very powerful card. Allows us to hit during our volley phase, and that's the first phase of a 3-part phase for resolving battles. So those Heavy Crossbowmen would have a good chance of taking out enemy units before they even have a chance to strike. And then we have this Defending Our Borders card. And on its first level, it says, after any enemy army enters your province with at least 1 farm, you receive an extra transient infantry unit. So that's pretty good, and that helps us to defend our region from raiders. And so that is going to complete our first action. We'll move back to the Lordlings. All right, so the Lordlings are up next. We'll be flipping their next AI card. They have Persevere. Perform the previous Lordling card again. Ignore Settle. So they're going to be performing the Development of Culture card, which means they're going to take the rightmost accessible culture card. So we'll be placing a disc on Development of Culture. So the Lordlings are taking the Development of Culture action. Now that is going to give them a kick-out action. 3 discs on top of each other kicks out the lowest disc. So they're going to get, after they complete this, they're going to be able to pick either recruit or take wood or leather. Well, they don't take commodities, so they will be taking the recruit action. But in this case, they are going to be taking the Development of Culture. They have to take the rightmost available card on the display. Well, they're only on level 1, so they have to take the Cognomen card, the Saint. So that card is going to be discarded, and that is going to earn them another 5 victory points. We'll slide these cards down and see what next is to be revealed. And this time we have another Great building, the cathedral in Mainz. And so that is going to move their victory points from 5 up to 10, and they're winning 10-0 right now. Not good. Now they get to take their kick-out action, and that is going to be the recruit action. This disc will be put in the used nobles area, and they're going to perform recruit. So the AI's rules for recruit action are they're going to place a type of unit that is the least amount on the board. Now, they have no units on the board. And then tiebreakers would be the level that they've managed to expand the units to. And then a final tiebreaker would be the order of infantry, archers, and then cavalry. So we're going to be placing an infantry unit, and it's going to go in the province, not the city, but province. The AI can create units in provinces, and the frequently asked questions are clear about this. They will place it in the province nearest to us. So in this case, they don't have any provinces other than their starting city location, so it will go into a starting city. So the 2 closest locations to us are going to be Swabia, it's within 2, and Tuscany is within 2 spaces. So we'll have to have a roll-off here and figure out where that unit is going to be deployed. So we'll roll a die. It'll be odd and even for the placement. The result is a 1. That's odd, so we're going to be placing that in Swabia. And then during the recruit action, we have to roll a d20 to see if the lordlings are going to be updating or upgrading any of their units. We roll a d20, and on a 16 or greater, they upgrade the unit that they just placed. So in this case, it would be infantry. We'll see if they get an upgrade. The result is a 2, so they don't. That's going to bring their action to a close. And now it's back to our turn. We have 5 noble discs remaining for this round. And to decide what we want to do for actions here. And I'm caught between taking another development of culture action, which is going to give us a kick-out action, or a recruit action. I think we're going to take the development of culture action once again. That'll be the 3rd disc in that area. It's going to give us a kick-out after we're done resolving this, and we're forced into taking this military upgrade card, and we'll put that into our hand. That's our 4th card in our hand. These are going to slide down now, and we'll see what else is revealed. This time it is advanced farming. That says immediate. Remove 1 farm from your player board. Reduce the costs of building a farm by 1 wood. And then for the 3rd level, remove 2 farms from your player board. All right. So that action is going to make our farms more productive. We don't have to have as many farms on the board to get our supply numbers up. Now we're going to take our kick-out action. I think we're going to take the kick-out action, take wood or leather. And in this case, I'm going to take a wood. So that disc will be placed in the exhausted nobles area, and we're going to gain a wood. So we're going to add a wood token to our supply. The reason I've taken that is because I'm planning on building an archer eventually. And we do have this military upgrade that we're waiting to play, and that is the heavy crossbowman. It's going to require some iron and leather, but if we can get that upgrade, that will upgrade all of that type of unit, even if they're already on the board. And now the lordlings will take their turn. We'll get another card going here. And this one is Rush. That Rush card reads, if there are 2 or fewer available lordling nobles. And there aren't, there are 3. So it says otherwise, draw another card instead and shuffle this back into the deck. So that's what we're going to do. The rush card will be temporarily set aside and we'll draw another card. And this one is settle. Does not place noble. Place a farm on a random lordling-controlled province that does not have a farm. If all of them do, draw another instead. Well, all of the provinces at present have one farm. So we'll have to draw another card. And this one is persevere. So it's going to perform the previous lordling card again, ignoring settle. So the previous card that was possible is the development of culture once again. Wow. All right, so that's what's going to happen. We're going to shuffle in this rush card back into the deck, and then they're going to choose persevere once again. All right, that's ready. And they'll be placing persevere. In this case, persevere is the development of culture, so once again, they're going to get a kick-out action. And that's going to give them the first Travels of Benjamin card. That earns them 1 victory point. And they keep these because they're going to score if they get another one. Next time it'll be worth 2 and 3 and so on. So that's going to earn them 1 more victory point. So that's going to increase their total now up to 11, and they're winning 11-0. They're just unabated out of the gates, as it were. Now we got to refresh the offer, so all of these are going to slide down. And we'll see what else is going to come up now. This time it is monasticism, Carthusians. All right. So now the lordlings will get their kick-out action, and obviously they have to take the recruit action. They can't get wood or leather, so they'll be doing another recruit action. In this case, they're going to be recruiting an archer this time. It's the fewest type of units on the board, and then if everything is equal, you go infantry, archer, and then cavalry. So they're going to be building an archer. And now we have to decide where that archer is going to go, and we'll be making a d6 roll. Once again, 2 provinces that are closest to us. So we'll roll a die, odd and even. This time it's even, so they're going to be building it in Tuscany. And now we have to roll to see if they get an upgrade on their archers. On a 16 or better, they will do so. The roll is a 6. So they don't get their upgrade, but they're starting to build forces now. All right, that's going to complete their round, and now it is our turn. We have 4 nobles left to place. This time I'm going to select the recruit action. And that says recruit 1 new unit in a province you control. Province must contain a city. For us, it's cities. For the lordlings, they can recruit in any location under their control. So I'm going to be recruiting an archer. So that archer is going to cost us 1 leather and 1 wood. So we'll pay the cost out of our supplies. And that is going to allow us to build an archer. So we'll be placing an archer in our capital of Corinthia. Our archers are going to be able to fire during the volley phase at a 4+, and then they can return if they survive for a melee phase. They're less effective, but they're still able to be used during that phase. So we're going to place that archer in Corinthia. You'll notice at present our farms area allows us to supply 3 units. That's 3 units on the whole board, not in just one province. So we'll place that archer in Corinthia, and the supplies that we use to construct it will be placed back into the supply. What I'm hoping to accomplish is I'd like to upgrade our archer units to those crossbowmen, which we have. And that is the heavy crossbowman. That's going to take a research action and 1 gold. And then our heavy crossbowman will be active. Then I'm going to launch my attack, probably against the 3 infantry defending, barbarian infantry defending Austria. And next we'll return back to the lordlings. We'll see what they're going to be doing. And here's their draw. This time they have rush. If there are 2 or fewer available lordling nobles, and that is the case, we have 2 of them. If lordlings control at least half, rounded up, of a kingdom, take it and score, even if taken from a human. Regardless, they will perform a pass. Okay, well, none of the lordlings have half of any of the provinces on the board. So in this case, they are going to pass. All right, when the lordlings do a pass, we do the following. We're going to be discarding the leftmost card from the culture offer. So the strategic planning card is going to be lost to us. That's too bad. So other cards will slide down, and we'll see what the next offer is. This time we've got another Congaman card, and this is the Peaceful. Receive 3 victory points for each province you control without a keep. All right, so that is what we've got. The next step is if the lordlings were entitled to claim a title, they would claim it. Well, in this case, they are not entitled. Then we're going to take all the noble discs from the lordlings and return them to the pool. All right. So all of the lordling tokens are going to be returned into their pool. Then all of the lordling cards are going to be collected and shuffled again. Step 5 of their pass includes them gaining 2 culture points. So the lordlings will move up to that first break point. The gold coin is lost. We can't claim that anymore. And now the lordlings will have their rightmost card will be the second card from the left. And finally, the last step is, depending upon the number of provinces the lordlings control, they're going to receive victory points. Currently, the lordlings are in control of 3 provinces. I'll bring up the table for that, and 1 to 3 equals 1 victory point. So the lordlings are going to gain another victory point. So the lordlings will gain another victory point. They are up to 12 right now. They're winning 12-0. And now it is our turn, and I think we are going to do a research action. So I'm going to place one of our nobles on the research action, and that says, play a new common technology on your player board, or pay 1 gold to raise a civil or military technology by 1 level. We are going to play the improvement Heavy Crossbowman. Since this is a military technology, that's going to cost us 1 gold to upgrade. But now we have Heavy Crossbowman. Now we'll return to the lordlings with a fresh deck, and they've got 6 nobles available. And this card is a rush card. If there are 2 or fewer available lordling nobles, there are not. Otherwise, draw another and shuffle it back in. Okay, this is the next draw. That's a recruit action. And that says, place the rarest unit to a lordling province closest to you. And then they will attempt an upgrade. Okay, we're going to shuffle that rush card back into the deck, and then we're going to do a recruit. So the lordlings are going to recruit the rarest unit available. And that's always relative to the units that they have on the board, not in the supply. So in this case, it is going to be a cavalry unit, and once again, it's going to go into the closest province that they control to us. So it's going to be a tie between Tuscany and Swabia, and we'll make a roll off to see what happens. Odd and even. In this case, it's odd. The cavalry is going to go into Swabia. Now we are going to have to make a d20 roll and determine if they are going to be able to raise the level of their units. Be a d20 roll, and a 16 or better, they will do so. He rolled an 8, so we are good for the moment. And that is going to bring their turn to a close. Now they have placed a noble on the recruit action. That's the second disc on that action. Now it goes to our turn, and I think we are going to do a maneuver action, and we're going to maneuver our 3-unit army into Austria, and we're going to confront these barbarians. So we're going to place our noble on maneuver action. And that says check your army limit and move one of your armies to a neighboring province. Our army limit is at 3. So we're going to maneuver our force into Austria. 2 infantry and an archer, in this case a heavy crossbowman, are going to be opposed by 3 barbarian infantry. So we'll place 3 of these gray infantry on here to represent the barbarian forces. And we're going to have our first battle. We begin the battle in our volley phase. The only force that has that capability is our heavy crossbowmen. I'll bring up their card, and you'll notice that they're going to hit on a 3+ during this phase. Here's the roll. We've rolled a 6, and that will allow us to take out an enemy force. And we're going to remove one of the barbarian infantry. We move on now to the charge phase. None of the forces in the battle have the charge capability, so we will move on to the melee phase. We're going to be having 2 light infantry and our heavy crossbowmen participate in the melee phase, faced by 2 barbarian infantry. So we're going to be rolling 2 dice, 2 green dice for our infantry, and 1 blue for our heavy crossbowmen. Our infantry are going to hit on a 5+, and the heavy crossbowmen will hit on a 4+. And here is the roll. All right, our heavy crossbowmen have done their job. They've inflicted 1 point of damage on the enemy. We're going to take one of their infantry units as a casualty, but that one still gets to fight. So now the barbarian infantry are going to attack us, and they'll be using the lowest values, a level 1 infantry, which means they're going to hit on a 5+. Here's their roll. They've inflicted no damage. So now we calculate what the battle strength is. We have a level 2 crossbowman that's worth 2 points, and 1 each of our light infantry, which are level 1. So we have a total of 4 battle strength. The barbarians have a strength of 1, so we've won the battle. That unit is removed, and we're going to place this token now onto our display of our trophies. We'll find out what we earn for defeating the barbarians. And we're going to gain 2 wood and 1 iron. That is awesome. So we're going to place 2 wood, moving us up to a total of 3 wood, and 1 extra iron was our benefit. And now we get to place that barbarian token in our trophies area. So the next time we fight a barbarian, they'll have battle strength of a +1 infantry. Now we have the option of exercising our free settling action. It says eliminate units in a province with no farm to place the first farm. The settling costs paid in eliminated unit levels are printed on your ruler card. So in this case, for Bertold, his settling level will be 2 in this case. That means it is adjacent to a city, our capital, and it is in the same region. And that is the case for Austria. So it'll cost us 2 levels of units. So our choices would be to eliminate 2 infantry or the one level 2 heavy crossbowman to pay the costs. And I think we are going to eliminate the crossbowman. That is a level of 2 that will pay the cost, and that's going to allow us to place a farm into Austria, thus taking control of it and moving up our supply level to 4. All right, that was a successful attack for us, and we've taken control of Austria, and not only that, but its leather production facilities as well. And now the lordlings will go. They have 5 nobles available, and their draw is a build action. All right, we're going to roll a d20 to find out what they are going to build. And here is our d20 roll. It's a 3. It says build a city plus 2 culture closest to you. Okay. Well, based on the board position, the lordlings cannot build a city. You can only have 1 city in a province. And they currently only have 3 provinces. So we have to continue rolling until we get a different result. Rolled an 18, and that's build 1 church. Okay. That they can do. We're instructed to build that church where we can gain the highest victory points. And in this case, the lordlings are going to build the church in Tuscany. That will get them the most victory points. So the lordlings are going to construct a church in Tuscany. It's going to earn them 5 victory points plus 1 victory point if there's no other church in the region that the church was built. And they'll gain an additional victory point for each adjacent region that does not have a church. So in this case, the Papal States will count as a separate region. It's white. The purple will count as a separate region. So in this case, they're going to earn 5, 6 for not having one in Italy, 1 for the Papal States, and 1 for Romagna. So that construction is going to net them a total of 8 victory points. And that's going to move the lordlings' victory point total from 12 up to 20. They are winning 20 to nothing. And so they're going to be placing their noble on that build action. We forgot to do that. And that is going to complete their turn. All right. Turn moves back to us. We have 1 noble remaining. Our choices would be to use the noble for an action, or we could declare a pass. And the problem is we have a lot of resources and we have not built up our warehouse. So those resources are going to be consumed when we pass. I would like to build a church, which would net us 5 victory points plus 1 victory point for each of the surrounding provinces. But I think we're best suited to build the city. That's going to give us an advancement of 2 points on our culture track. So I think we are going to do a build action, and we're going to build a city in Austria. So we're going to take the build action. Build a city or a new building, and we're going to build a city. So what we do is we're going to receive 2 culture points for building that city. Moves this up equal with the lordlings. And we're going to build that city in Austria. Construction costs will be a stone and a wood. So we're going to pay those into the supply, and we're going to get out a city and place it on the board. Part of the reason I didn't want to build the church yet is we have this Shroud of Turin relic out here. And be a nice time to build a church, and then we'd be able to, at the same time, build a level of keep in the same province, which would be great, and that would be free. So we're going to build that city in Austria. That's going to incorporate in this leather production facility into the building. We've already got our farm there. So that's going to complete our turn. Now we have no nobles left, so we will have to pass next turn. We'll move on to the lordlings. The lordlings will now take their turn. and they have the settle card. Well, they can't perform that because all of their provinces have a farm on them already. So it says, draw another instead. And they're going to conduct a research. Now, when you see that exclamation point, we're going to be using these alternate tokens, and that is a preparation token. We place that preparation token on the research action card, and then what that does is next time the lordlings have a research card drawn, if they have it preparation token there, then they will finally perform the action. And now it is our turn, and we have no nobles available, so we are forced to conduct a pass. First step in our pass is to discard the leftmost card in the display. So the Travels of Benjamin card is going to be discarded, and these are going to shift down, and we'll get another card in the offer. This one is a Travels of Benjamin card. All right. The next step is for us to claim any title cards that we're eligible for. Now, we would be eligible for the Duchy of Carinthia, but we don't have a noble token that we can exhaust for the Carniola province. So we're not eligible to take it. We have a majority in that kingdom, but we don't have Carniola yet. If we occupied that, we could take the card. If we don't have it, then we have to have a noble to exhaust for each province that we don't control, so we can't take it. Our next step is we're going to reclaim all of our nobles. So we've got our 6 nobles back. Next, we're going to check our warehouse. Now, we haven't upgraded that, so we have no ability to sell any of our commodities, and we're able to hold only 1. So out of these 4 commodities, we can keep 1 of them. And I suppose we will keep an iron. So these other ones are going to be sent back to the supply. That's the problem with not having expanded your warehouse. Next, we're going to receive 1 gold. Finally, we're going to gain resources for each province that we control. We're going to be gaining an iron and a leather. So we'll take those out of the supply and put those into our available resources area. I think I'm going to make one change. I had the ability to keep 1 of the tokens that we had. I think rather than taking the iron, I'm going to keep a wood instead. So that's what we have. That's going to complete our pass action, and we'll go back to the lordlings. And here's the draw for the lordlings. They've got persevere. All right, so in that case, they're going to be perform the previous lordling card again. In this case, it will be research. The lordlings have already done their preparation for research, so they're going to be placing a disc on the research action. The preparation disc will be removed back to their play area, and now they are going to perform research. We're going to be doing a d20 roll, and that will tell us what they are going to do. So we'll make a d20 roll. Here's the d20. 11. So that means they are going to upgrade a lordling unit. So we're going to be consulting our player aid, and that's going to tell us the unit type. We're going to be rolling the d20, and then that will be the style of unit that they are going to upgrade. Okay, here is the got to get that into frame. Okay, this will be the d20 roll for the lordling upgrade. Result is a 2, so that means it's going to be infantry. And what we do there is we simply take this marker and move their lordling infantry up to level 2. That is going to give them now a 4+ in melee combat. Now it's back to our turn. So examining what we have here, this is the beauty of this game though. The strategic options that are available to the player in the solitaire game, I'm sure, and in the multiplayer game, are just awesome. You're constantly looking for all kinds of things in addition to the victory points, but how to achieve those victory points. You're looking at the actions display. Can I get a kick out action? You're looking at the cards that are available in the offer. Like in this case, we have that Shroud of Turin card that would be very valuable to us. We would be able to build a level of a keep in the same province as the church for free. So when we build a church, we would be able to get that upgrade to the keep. Now there's all kinds of things that I'd like to do. I'd like to expand my warehouse. I would definitely like to build additional farms. But I think at this point, I'm going to go after that Shroud of Turin card. So we're going to be taking a development of culture action. And right now I am able to take either the Shroud of Turin or the Cathedral in Mainz. So we should have to take a closer look at those. The great building looks pretty good, but unfortunately we don't have access to stone right now, so that would be a problem in trying to construct that. I think we're going to go with the Shroud of Turin. So I'm going to add that into my hand, and then these cards are going to slide down, and we'll see what our next offer is. This one is urbanization. All right. First level is whenever you build a city, you receive 1 additional culture point. And level 2, whenever you build a city, it comes with first level keep. And on third level, reduce the costs of building cities by 1 resource. That's a pretty good card. All right, so we're going to be adding this Shroud of Turin card into our hand. Now we've got a total right now of 4 cards. We've got defending the borders, an military upgrade, a reinforced card that'll give us a +1 to a battle, and then Shroud of Turin. All right. Lordlings are up next, and they draw this time Persevere again. Okay, so that is going to allow them to do that research action again. They're going to place their preparation disc on research, and that's what we'll do. Well, it's back to our turn. Now I'm looking at my lack of stone production. We've got 2 choices of where we can get stone readily available. One would be in Moravia. It's currently defended by 3 barbarian infantry, and we could definitely launch an attack there if we choose. The other location is Verona. That's defended by an infantry and cavalry, and that would place us on the doorstep of Tuscany. So problem is we'd have to move this force into Carinthia in order to strike at Verona. I'm going to have to think about this. And I've decided to take the maneuver action. It's going to allow us to move 1 army of our choice into a neighboring province. And so I'm going to move the army we have to infantry, and that will be moved into Carinthia in preparation for our attack on Verona. The Lordlings have 3 nobles left, and they'll be drawing their next card. This time it is Rush. In this case, they have to have 2 or fewer Lordling nobles. Otherwise, draw another card and shuffle this back in. So that's what will happen. Their next card is Maneuver, and that is an exclamation point. So they're going to be placing a preparation token on Maneuver, and we'll shuffle Rush back in. So we'll place their preparation disc on Maneuver, and now they're prepared for either Maneuver or Research. For my next turn, I'm going to do a recruit action. That's going to allow us to recruit 1 new unit in a province we control, and we're going to do that in Carinthia. I'm going to be building a heavy crossbowman that's going to cost us a leather and an iron. And we're going to be placing a crossbowman in Carinthia. So we'll place that crossbowman there. That'll complete our turn. Now I have 3 noble discs left, and what I'm kind of proposing is I'm going to do a research action next, and we're probably going to upgrade our light infantry using this military upgrade card. That'll get us to level 2 for our infantry, which is going to help them in the melee portion of combat. Then, for our second noble, we're going to conduct a maneuver, and we're going to launch an attack on Verona. My third will be to pass, and then we're going to be able to gain the Duchy of Carinthia title. That's kind of the short-term plans for now. So we'll return to the Lordlings and see what they are going to do. This card is Rush again. Well, they still have 3 discs left, so we're going to have to discard this and play the next card. And this is a Development of Culture card. So the Rush card would be shuffled in. There's only 1 card left, but they're going to conduct the Development of Culture. So they're going to place that token on Development of Culture, and then they are going to take the rightmost card that they're eligible to take. In this case, it's going to be Advanced Farming, and that's too bad. I wouldn't have minded getting that. So they are going to gain this card. So they're not going to enact the text on the card, but they're going to keep it, and they can keep as many of those cards as they're able to acquire, and those are going to affect one of the endgame conditions. If they're able to get a total of 9 military improvements combined with common technology cards, that is going to send the game into its endgame situation. So we'll give them that card. And now we're going to refresh the culture board and see what comes out next. This one is another great building, and that is the Great St. Martin Church in Cologne. All right. So we'll put that model out on that card. Now it's my turn, and I'm going to do the research action. And what we're going to be doing is employing this military research card, and we're going to get infantry to level 2. It's going to cost us 1 gold, however. So we're going to pay 1 gold, and we are going to put in place our military upgrade for infantry. It's going to make it a level 2 and give us a 4+ for infantry during melee. All right, the Lordlings are going to go now, and we know that that's going to be the Rush card. So they are going to, if there's 2 or fewer Lordling nobles, they're going to do a pass. Now, they're still not eligible for any kingdom card, so we'll go through the pass situation. We begin by discarding the leftmost card on the display, so the Cathedral in Mainz is gone. We'll shift those cards down and see what else transpires. And this one is a raid card, and that is not good. Let's take a closer look at that card. And that raid card says, when added to the culture roll, we're going to make a D20 roll. So we'll make the D20 roll and see what happens. Rolls a 3, and they're going to add a raider. Okay. So we're going to consult our player aid card, and we are going to make a roll and see what type of unit they're adding. The result is a 16. That means they're going to be adding an archer. So we're going to get out a Magyar Raider archer. And we'll add an archer to their display. Next, they're going to recover all of their discs, but the preparation discs are going to remain in place. Next, we get all of our Lordling cards, and we're going to give those a shuffle and get them prepared for their next turn. Then they're going to gain 2 points on their culture track and victory points equal to the number of provinces they control. They still control 3, so they'll be gaining an additional victory point. So that'll move their VPs up to 21, and they're winning 21-0. All right, we are up next, and I'll tell you, this monasticism Carthusians is really a powerful card, but It's going to interrupt my plans that I have for this round. But some of the benefits on this, you can build churches in provinces with no cities. And then when it's upgraded, researching level 2 common technologies costs you no gold. And then finally, researching level 3 common technologies costs you no gold. So pretty powerful card, but we are going to go with maneuver. So I'm going to place a disc on the maneuver action, and that's going to allow us now to move an army. And we're going to move our 3-unit army in Corinthia. We're going to invade Verona. So we're going to be going up against barbarian infantry and cavalry. Now we've already fought against one barbarian previously. We've got a trophy for that. The next time that we fight them, the barbarians are going to gain 1 extra infantry, but if we win the battle, we're going to be gaining 2 victory points. So in this case, the barbarians are going to have 1 cavalry and 2 infantry units opposing us. We're going to begin with the volley phase, and our heavy crossbowmen are going to launch a volley on the barbarians, and they're going to hit on a 3+ in this phase. Here's the roll. They've rolled a 3, so we've inflicted a casualty. The barbarian cavalry have 2 hit points. Their infantry have 1. So I'm going to select one of the infantry as the casualty, and that won't be able to fight us in the melee phase. Next up is the charge phase. The only charging unit is the barbarian cavalry. They're going to hit on a 5+ during this phase. Here's their roll. They've rolled a 3, so they've missed. We'll move on to the melee phase. In the melee phase, we're going to be gaining 2 green dice for our infantry and 1 blue for our heavy crossbowmen. Both types are going to hit on a 4+. We have level 2 infantry and level 2 volley units. So they're going to all hit on a 4+. In the melee phase, for the barbarians, their infantry will hit on a 5+, their cavalry on a 6+. Here is our attack roll. All right, we've done 2 hits. 2 hits. And I'm going to take the barbarian cavalry with 2 hit points as the casualty. Now they're going to roll their attack. Cavalry will still be able to fight. They're going to hit on a 6, their infantry on a 5+. They have no hits. So we've won the battle. Each of our forces is level 2, so we have 2, 4, 6 battle strength. They have 1. We've won the battle. The barbarians are defeated. Let's see what our reward is. And we are going to gain 1 leather and 1 stone, and then we're going to place that token on our trophies area. So we've received a leather and stone in our inventory, and now we're going to place our barbarian token on the trophies area, and that is going to net us our first victory points of the game. We're going to gain 2 victory points for defeating those barbarians. So presently the score is 21-2 in favor of the lordlings. Now we can exercise our free action of settling. If we choose to settle Verona, that is an adjacent province to our capital, but it is in a different kingdom. So that's going to cost us a total of 3 levels of units to place a farm there, and I think we will do that. I'm going to place, we'll keep our, I think we'll keep the archers. All of these units are worth 2 points, so we're going to have to surrender a total of 2 of them no matter what. So I guess we will surrender both infantry. Those will be cheaper to replace, and that will allow us to place a farm in Verona. So we'll place a farm in Verona. That's going to give us access to the stone that is available in that province. And with the placement of that farm, we have a supply level now of 5, so we can have up to 5 units to form our armies. And now it is the lordlings' turn once again, and this time they have drawn maneuver. They've already have placed a preparation token on maneuver, so they are going to take the action. And it says select a random adjacent uncontrolled province. Place 1 infantry there and remove the barbarian token. All right. So they're going to be taking the maneuver action. That's going to give us a kick-out action, which is nice. And we have to decide where they are going to strike with their maneuver. So we have to find a random adjacent uncontrolled province. Now you'll notice on the board that there's these red numbers in red circles. Those are random province locations, so that facilitates us in trying to find a random province. So we're going to roll a d20 and find out which one it is. We'll have to keep rolling until we get one that qualifies. Roll is an 18. All right, 18 is Tuscany, so we'll have to keep rolling. 4. Okay, a 4 is Franconia. All right. So under the current board position, Franconia could be invaded by either Saxony or Swabia. So we will roll a die to determine which one is going to do it. It doesn't really matter, but it would be just interesting for the narrative to see who's doing it. So odd for Saxony, even for Swabia. It is odd, so Saxony is launching an attack into Franconia. Lordlings are going to take the province, and barbarian token is removed. So currently, Franconia is being controlled by military presence. So if the Lordlings end up getting that settle card out, they would be able to use that and place a farm in Franconia. So the preparation disc for maneuver is removed and returned to the Lordlings. And now we get to take a kick-out action. Our choices are cultural exchange, or we can take a wood or leather. The cultural exchange action allows us to discard a culture card of any type, including any technology you started the game with, from your hand to gain a gold. Or we can spend a gold to take any culture card from the offer, ignoring the position of our culture marker. So, at present, we don't have any gold, unfortunately. So it doesn't look like the cultural exchange is going to be a good option for us. So we're going to use the take wood or leather. And I'm going to select a leather. So we'll place that in our discarded nobles area, and we're going to gain a leather. So we'll gain a leather commodity. We have 1 noble left, and I'm going to be using that, I believe, in the next opportunity. We're going to pass, and then with that noble, unplayed noble, we'll be able to acquire the Duchy of Carinthia. And that's a title card. And we're up next, and I'm going to choose the pass option. And we'll begin the pass option by moving the leftmost culture card off the board. So the monasticism Carthusians card will be removed from play. These are going to slide down. And we'll draw another card. This time it is military upgrade, either level 2 infantry or level 2 archers. Well, we've already advanced both of ours to level 2, so that card won't be too beneficial for us. Next, we determine if we're eligible to take title cards, and in this case we are. The Duchy of Carinthia has the following provinces involved: Austria, Carinthia, and Carniola. Well, we control 2 of those, so we have more than half or more of the provinces of that kingdom. We can take the card as long as we have a noble that has not been used yet to pay for the provinces that we don't control. So we're going to use that and exhaust it in order to pay for the Carniola province that we don't have. That's going to gain us this Duchy of Carinthia card. That is instantly going to earn us 7 victory points. And that's going to gain us a total of 9 victory points now. It's getting a little closer. It's 21 to 9. we're going to gain this title card. Now, what we can do during the turn, we can, after performing an action, we can tip the card and perform that action again once per round, which is pretty powerful. Next, we're going to reclaim all of our nobles. So we'll get those tokens back. And then we're going to check our warehouse. Well, we haven't had the opportunity to upgrade that yet. Well, our current warehouse has a sell of 0 and 1 hold. So we're able to keep one of our commodity tokens. We've got 2 leather, a stone, and a wood. And I think we're going to keep the stone. We'll have to discard our 2 leather and wood, unfortunately. Next, we receive a gold. Finally, we're going to collect our resources. We are in control now of Verona, Carinthia, and Austria, so that it's going to entitle us to a stone, iron, and leather. Now, one thing that I failed to remember during the game is when these raider cards came out on the display. Currently, we have one of these little discs on our leader card, and that was from the setup of the game. That token remained on our leader card until we had a province that could randomly be selected as the target of a potential raider strike. So right now we have 2 provinces, and Verona at that point was not on, we did not have control of that when that last raid card came out. So we're going to place this token in Austria, and that is going to be the target of any raids that might happen by the Magnar Raiders. And so that is going to complete our pass, and we'll move back to the Lordlings. Before we continue on, I'm going to show the viewers some elements that I just received from Amazon that I had ordered, and they're going to kind of brighten this game up a little bit. I purchased a set of 50 gold coins. They're really nice weight, and they've got a nice design on them, and came with a leather bag on top of it. So I'm going to substitute in these gold coins for the ones I was using. Those were plastic. These are metal, and they're really nice. I got these for $15.99 for 50 of them. I think the regular price was $19.99, but very, very nice, I think, thematic element that I can add into this game. Okay, we're going to continue with the Lordlings. They're winning 21-9 right now is the score. And we have a Persevere card. So they are going to duplicate their maneuver action. All right. So with that maneuver action, they are going to place a prepare marker on the maneuver action. That will be the extent of their turn. Now it's our turn, and I have a good chance of earning some victory points here. I'm going to be taking the Development of Culture action. And we're going to end up taking this card here. It's a cognomen card called the Peaceful. Receive 3 victory points for each province you control without a keep. All right, let's apply that to the board. Now, I should point out with these cognomen cards, it states in the rules, similar to the settling action, which is a free action. It says another free action available to you on your turn is to play a cognomen card from your hand. Each cognomen card has a scoring condition. Evaluate it, score the victory points, and place it in the common discard pile. You may not keep cognomen cards in your hand during passing, so you must play all cognomen cards in your hand when you pass. For details, see page 20. So we exercise that free action on the turn after we acquired the cognomen card. All right, at present, I control 3 provinces. We've got Carinthia, Austria, and we have Verona. It says receive 3 victory points for each province you control without a keep. So we have a total of 3. It's going to give us 9 victory points. That's going to move us up to 18. So that is going to move our total up 9, and we are at 18 now. And we're getting close to equaling the Lordlings, which are at 21. That's great. So we're going to adjust our card offer and see what is going to be coming down the pipeline. This time we've got another great building, St. Maximum's Abbey in Trier. All right, so we'll place that model out there. And now we have a new option available to us. Since we have that title card, in this case the Duchy of Carinthia, we can tip that card once per round, and then that allows us to take that same action that we took one more time. So that would allow us another development of culture action if we choose to do that. So that option would be available to us. We would not have to place another noble token down. You can just duplicate the action. I don't think I'm going to do it at this point. We would be eligible to take the Travels of Benjamin card or this Urbanization card based upon our level at present. But I think we are going to hold on to that for the moment. We still have 5 nobles left to use during the turn. So the lordlings will continue with their turn. And they've drawn Persevere again. So that is going to be another maneuver action. All right, this time they are going to be able to take the maneuver. So they're going to place their noble disc on maneuver, reclaim their preparation disc, and they'll take the maneuver action. All right, now we're going to resolve the maneuver action for the lordlings. We're going to keep rolling this D20 and comparing that to the province numbers on the board, and they're going to move an infantry unit, defeating the barbarians that are located there and taking control of that province. So here's the roll. Roll is a 14. 14 is where? 14, that's Austria, so we can't do that one. 5. 5 is located in Thuringia. So that's what they're going to do. They are going to occupy Thuringia, removing the barbarian token, and they gain control of Thuringia. All right, we're up next. We have 5 nobles to place. And I think we are going to expand our warehouse. For the next level of warehouse, we have to spend either a wood or a stone. Well, I'm going to elect to spend a stone, so we're going to be taking the build action. I'm going to place our token on the building action. And we're going to upgrade our warehouse up 1 level. It's going to give us 1 sale and 1 hold. Now we'll return to the lordlings. Their card is a Development of Culture card. They are going to take the rightmost accessible culture card. So we're going to place one of their nobles on Development of Culture. So they place their noble, and they're going to be taking the rightmost eligible card, which is in this case Urbanization. We'll add that to their total of common developments. The other cards are going to slide down, and we'll see what else comes out on the display. This time we've got, a reinforced card. It's a raider card. And that card reads, when added to a culture roll, we have to roll a d20. So we will do that and see what they are going to do for reinforcements. Here's the roll. The result is a 9, and that's add a raider. Okay, so we're going to consult our player aid and see what type of raider we are going to add. Okay, we're going to consult our unit type selection. The result is a 12, and that's going to be a cavalry unit. So they are going to add a cavalry unit to the Magyar Raiders. 2 cavalry and 2 infantry and 1 archer. They're getting quite powerful. All right, it's our turn next. I'm a little concerned we have a lack of wood production. Now I can build wood production in Austria. Those are considered merchants if they're not a part of the province where you're constructing that. So in that case, matching neighboring provinces' resources, we have to spend 2 wood and a stone. And we can gather that from either Bavaria or Bohemia. Those are considered merchants rather than actual manufacturing sites. So we're going to have to think about that. I only have 1 gold, so I don't have enough wood to produce that wood production facility at this time. I think at this time I'm going to use one of my nobles in a research action, and we are going to research this common technology defending our borders. It's going to come in at level 1. It says after an enemy army enters your province with at least 1 farm, you receive an extra transient infantry unit. So we're going to do that. We'll place that at the top of our board so that it displays level 1. Now in this case, that common technology lists 1 victory point, but we don't score that immediately. That will only be scored at the end of the game when we compute our totals. And if this card was to be moved up, we score whatever the highest value is on that technology at that time. But right now we've got it at level 1. So we place our noble on that research action. Now we'll switch back to the lordlings. Here's the next lordling action, and that is a settle action. They do not place a noble. They're going to place a farm on a random lordling controlled province that does not have a farm. Well, they have some of those. They currently have 2 provinces that will qualify, Franconia and Thuringia. So we're going to roll a die, and on an odd we will place it in Franconia, and on an even Thuringia. Result is 3. It's odd. They'll be placing it in Franconia. So we place a farm in Franconia that moves their supply level up to 6 now. All right, we are up next, and I'm going to take a recruit action. So we're going to place one of our nobles on the recruit action, and I'm going to recruit a heavy crossbowman. That's going to cost us 1 leather and 1 iron. And in addition, I'm going to use my title card. We're going to tip that and take the action again. And I am going to purchase an infantry. And we don't have any leather left, so I'm going to be spending one of my gold coins. So we're going to be producing an infantry and a heavy crossbowman. And since Austria is going to be the target of any raids that would happen in the future, we're going to place that crossbowman in Austria, and duplicating the action with our title card, we're going to place the infantry in there as well. So we're going to place that noble in the recruiting action. Now, I didn't enjoy spending the gold for that infantry, but in this case I think it was warranted. And now we return to the lordlings, and they've got a research action. Well, they have already placed a preparation disc on research, so they will be taking the research action. The card says that we need to roll a d20. So we will find out what the effects of their research is. They've rolled a 17, and that's 2 victory points plus 1 common tech. Well, they have currently collected a total of 2 common technologies, so that's going to give them a total of 4 victory points. So that'll move them up from 21 up to 25 victory points. They're winning 25 to 18, but we've closed the gap at least. That's great. So we place that noble disc on the research action, and we remove their preparation disc. We have 2 noble discs left. I don't have much in the way of commodities, so I think what I'm going to do is take the development of culture action. So I'm going to take the development of culture action. That is going to kick us out for a free action after we're done completing this. We have a choice now between Travels of Benjamin card or the Great St. Martin Church in Cologne. That's going to require us a stone and a wood to build, and that would immediately gain us 1 victory point for each neighboring province without a church. And at the end of the game, we'd receive 2 victory points for each neighboring province with a church. And that's kind of a good thing. I think we will take that. So I'm going to take the Great St. Martin's Church in Cologne. So we'll add that card into our hand. That's our 3rd card out of 10 possible. These are going to slide down, and we will see what is going to transpire. And this is a military technology card, level 2 heavy infantry or level 2 knights. Okay. Now we get to take our kick-out action, and I'm going to select the take wood or leather. And in this case, I think I am going to take wood. So we're going to gain a wood commodity, and our noble will go into the exhausted nobles area. The lordlings will take their action now. They have 2 discs remaining. This card is a build card. Okay, we're going to make a roll with a d20 and find out what are they building. Okay, here is the die roll. The result is a 2, and they're going to build a city, and they're going to gain 2 culture points. They're going to build it closest to us. Okay, let's find that on the map. The 2 provinces that are eligible to have the cities built would be in Franconia and Thuringia. The closest to us, I believe, is going to be Thuringia. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So it will be built in Thuringia. We're going to get out a city. And the lordlings will incorporate that stoneworks into the city. And they're also going to gain 2 culture points. So we move their culture points up by 2, and they're almost at the 3rd level. All right. Well, we have 1 noble disc remaining, and I think I have to deal with this raid card. We took a chance. If the lordlings would have acquired this card, or if it drops off to the bottom, there's a 15 out of 20 chance that the raiders would attack us, and that attack would occur in Austria. So I think we are going to deal with that by taking a research action. I'm sorry, a development of culture action. So we're going to place our noble on development of culture, and unfortunately that does give a kick out to the lordlings, but we are going to take this raid card. It'll remove that from being a threat to us. So we're going to add this raid card to our hand, and it says here that if we play it from our hand, play this instead of placing a noble to counterattack raiding party. It's a special action, and that allows us to conduct combat with the Magyar raiders to try to reduce their numbers. So it's a good card to have, and we're going to add that to our hand. All right, we're going to slide these cards down and see what else is going to come out onto the track. I hope it is not another raider card. This one is advanced farming again, and that might be something we want to be looking at in the future. Okay, that's going to complete our turn. Now the lordlings are going to take their kick-out action, and they are going to take a recruit action. So that disc will be moved into the used nobles area, and they're going to take a recruit. All right, so they're going to be taking the recruit action, and they are going to recruit a unit type that they have the least of currently on the board. Currently they have 3 infantry, 1 cavalry, and 1 archer. So the least of will be cavalry and archers. We check the level of those 2 types of units as a tiebreaker. Both of them are level 1. So we're still tied between cavalry and archers. We go to the default settings on those, and that is the order of infantry, archers, and cavalry. So they're going to be producing an archer. And now we have to figure out where it's going to go. So they're going to be placing it in a province that is closest to us. And currently all 3 of these would qualify. We would have Tuscany is within 2. Swabia is within 2, and Thuringia is within 2. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will be the breakdown of that. So we'll make a roll and find out which province we're going to place that archer in. It's a 4, so that is going to be placed in Swabia. We'll place an archer there. They're building up a sizable force in Swabia. Actually, that's not correct. We own Verona, so it will be placed in Tuscany instead. That is closer. So we will place that second archer there in Tuscany. That's within 1 space of us. They can recruit, incidentally, in any province under their control. We have to recruit in cities. They don't have to. First step in a pass is we are going to discard the leftmost card. So the Travels of Benjamin is discarded. These are going to slide down, and we'll see what our next development is. And this one is a relic, the sandals of Jesus Christ. All right. The next consideration is if we were eligible for a title. And we are not eligible for any titles at this point. We've got the one that we have. So we'll move on now. We'll take all of our nobles back, and then we're going to check our warehouse. So we'll reclaim all of our noble tokens, leaving the others there. All right, consulting our warehouse, we finally have a sell option. So what we can do is we can sell any of our commodities that we have in storage, and we're able to move up our culture points equal to the trade value. So in this case, I think I'm going to sell a stone, and that stone is worth 2. So we can move up our culture 2 points, and that represents that we're interacting in mercantilism with other tribes and things, and then therefore the exchange of culture happens. So we'll move up our culture level by 2. Now we check our warehouse hold level. We have 1, so we can hold on to the wood that we have, which is great. Now we receive a gold, which is always great. We're not holding any cognomen cards. And now we're going to receive our production. Each province that we control, we're going to receive resources accordingly. All right, so now we're going to collect our commodities from our controlled provinces. We're going to get a stone from Verona, iron from Carinthia, and leather from Austria. So we're going to add these commodities into our totals. And our final step is to tip our title cards that we've used back to usable for the next turn. Okay, we'll move on to the lordlings. They have 1 noble left. And the next lordling's card is a rush. Okay, if there are 2 or fewer available lordling nobles, they're going to pass. So we'll have to see if the lordlings control at least half, rounded up, of a kingdom. They're going to take it and score it. And that is true in the case of East Franconia. They have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 provinces out of the total of 6 in that kingdom. So they are going to gain the kingdom of East Franconia, and that's going to give them 10 victory points right away. And unfortunately, that's going to move the lordlings up from 25 up to 35. So they are winning 35 to 18 currently in the victory point count. They're going to reclaim all of their nobles discs. And we're going to shuffle up our lordlings deck. Then the leftmost card is going to drop off the board. That was that military upgrades card. And we'll see what our next offering will be. This time it is level 2 knights or level 3 longbowmen. Military upgrade. Lordlings are going to gain 2 points on the culture track. It's going to remove this gold coin from our access. So we no longer have access to that. Now this gives them access to these 3 cards now. And finally, they're going to score victory points based on the number of provinces under their control. They currently control 5 provinces, so that's going to earn them an additional 3 victory points. And that's going to increase their victory point total up to 38. They're winning 38 to 18. All right, we are up next. And I think we are going to take a build action. I'm a little concerned about the lack of wood production. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a merchant in Austria that deals with wood production. Now, since we're going to be matching neighboring provinces' resources, we have to pay 2 wood and a stone. So I don't have enough wood, so we're going to pay the stone. That one should have been gone from before. A wood, and unfortunately we're going to have to use gold coin to pay for that. That will allow us to make a merchant in Austria. So we are adjacent to wood production in Bohemia and Bavaria, so we will add a wood production facility in Austria. That should solve at least our short-term problems with our wood production. So we'll place our noble in the build action. Now we'll move on to lordlings. And the lordlings card is revealed to be maneuver. So they're going to be placing a preparation disc on the maneuver action. That is going to be their turn. And it's our action next. And I think we're going to take a recruit action. So we're going to be placing one of our nobles on the recruit action, and I'm going to purchase a heavy crossbowman. That is going to cost us a leather and an iron, and it's just enough in our stores to pay for that. We currently have a total of 3 units on the map, and our supply level is 5. And I'm going to elect to place that heavy crossbowman in Austria. What I'm trying to develop here is a defense in case by some chance a raid happens, and also to build up a sizable force where we can move into Bohemia. That would get us direct access to wood, and in this case we know we're going to be able to gain 2 wood and a stone if we could defeat the barbarians in the area. So Bohemia is probably my next target. So we're going to place our noble in the recruit action. All right, now it is the lordlings. And the next lordlings card is research. Okay, the same thing is going to happen. They're going to place a preparation disc, this time on research. That'll be the extent of their turn. And we're up next. Now I have no commodities or gold, so we won't be able to take the build action, and I think we're going to do a maneuver. So we're going to place one of our nobles on maneuver, and then we are going to use our title card. We're going to tip that and take the maneuver action again. That's what we're going to do. So we take the maneuver action. We check our supply level. We've got 4 units. Our supply level is 5. I'm going to move this bowman into Corinthia, and then we're going to take our title card, using it again. We'll move that force into Austria. So we've built up a sizable force there now. And we'll move back to the lordlings. And we'll continue on with the lordlings. And they have culture, development of culture card. All right. So they'll be placing one of their nobles on development of culture. Place their noble on development of culture, and they're going to take the rightmost card that they're eligible to take. In that case, it's going to be this military upgrade card. And that card is going to give them a random military upgrade. When it's the lordlings taking the card, we disregard what's on the card, and we make a roll for a random unit, and then that is the unit that would be improved. These cards will slide. And the next one is levied cavalry. All right. So we're going to consult our player aid card, and we're going to roll up a random unit type, and that will be the type that the lordlings are going to upgrade. The result is a 5. 5 is going to be infantry, so they are going to upgrade their infantry from level 2 to an improved level 2. All right, now their infantry are going to be hitting on a 4+. Okay. All right, we are up next. I am going to authorize a maneuver action. So we're going to spend one of our nobles, placing that on the maneuver action. Currently, our supply level is 5. I've got a total of 4 units on the board, and we're going to have them launch an attack on Bohemia. So that is what we're going to do. Now we're going to find out what we're up against. And we're going to be fighting against 3 infantry units. So we'll be placing 3 infantry units in Bohemia. In addition, this is going to be our 3rd battle against the barbarians. That's going to get them a bonus archer unit that we are going to have to fight. And if we can win this battle, we're going to gain 3 victory points. And we're going to resolve the battle. We'll begin with our volley phase. Well, we have a total of 3 archers. So we're going to be rolling 3 blue dice, and we are going to hit on a 3+. Here is the roll. And we've got a total of 3 hits. That is absolutely awesome. So we are going to take out 3 infantry. They are gone. They have 1 archer, and they're going to be hitting on a value of 4+ during the volley phase. Here is the roll. They've rolled a 5, so they're going to take a casualty on us, and both of our units have 1 hit point, both types. So they will take out an archer. There's going to be no charge phase. We'll move on to the melee phase. In the melee phase, I'm going to have 2 archers participating and 1 infantry. So we're going to get 2 blue and 1 green die. And the barbarians will get a single blue die. Okay. We're going to be hitting during the melee on a 4+, and our infantry will also hit on a 4+. So here is our roll. And we've got 2 hits. More than enough to take out the barbarian archers. But they still get to fire. And during the melee phase, their archers are going to hit only on a 6+. They rolled a 4, so no damage to us. And we have taken Bohemia. And our reward is 2 wood and a stone. Excellent. So we're going to place that barbarian token on our trophies area. And we are going to instantly earn 3 victory points. And that is going to move us up to 21 victory points. The lordlings have 38. Now, in order to settle Bohemia, we are not adjacent to our capital, and we are in a completely different kingdom. So we're going to have to be paying the highest cost, and that is a cost of 5. All of our units are level 2 units, so we have a total of 6. We could do it and place a farm in Bohemia, but that would completely wipe out our force. So I think we are going to wait at this time, and we're going to control Bohemia militarily rather than by occupation with settlers. Now the lordlings are up, and their next card is a recruit action. Well, they have placed a preparation disc there, so they are going to recruit. We'll be placing a noble on the recruit action. And that says, place the rarest unit. Ties, higher level available unit than infantry, archer, and cavalry to province closest to you. All right. Then we have to roll for an upgrade, so we'll do that now. The result is a 2. They don't get the upgrade, so we'll be placing a new unit for the lordlings. So the lordlings are going to be taking a recruit action. Their least amount of unit type on the board is a cavalry unit, so they're going to be placing a cavalry, and it's going to be in the province closest to us. So that will either be Tuscany or Thuringia. It's within one space of us. So we'll make a die roll and see where they're placing it. Odd and even. It is even, so they'll be placing that cavalry in Tuscany, and they're building up quite a force there. All right. All right, it is our turn next. We have 3 nobles left to place, and I think we are going to do a research action, and I think I'm going to be, well, actually, I think we're going to be taking a build action. I have enough supplies here, 2 wood and a stone, and that is sufficient to build a church. It's going to get us some victory points. In addition, we have a relic that we can place. That's the Shroud of Turin. You may build a level of keep in this same province as this church for free. So I think we are going to be doing that. So I'm going to be taking the build action. And we're going to spend 2 wood and a stone. And we're going to construct a church. And we're going to see where that would be best suited to be placed. So we're going to take a church from the church supply, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more churches left before that becomes an end game condition. So we're going to score 5 victory points. Then 1 victory point for the province's region and each other region neighboring the province, as long as no other province in that region contains a church. Well, that is quite interesting. So it looks like if we do it in Carinthia, that'll be 5 plus 1 for the region we're in. There's no other churches there. That's 6. And we don't get 1 for Kingdom of Italy. They've built a church there. So I think our best bet is going to be into Austria. Will be our best place to place that church. So I think we will do that. We're going to place the church in Austria. And our city is filled now. So we're going to get 5 victory points for building the church. We'll get 1 for building a church in the home kingdom that we're in. There's no churches in Bohemia, and there are no churches in Franconia. So that'll be worth 5, 6, 7, 8 victory points to us. That's great. And then we're also going to be playing this Shroud of Turin relic. That'll allow us to build a level of keep in the same province. So we'll be adding a keep in Austria. It's going to move our victory points up by 8, so that'll put us up from 21 to 29. So now the score is 38 to 29. That was a great play by us. Lordlings are up next. They have 4 nobles to place. They're going to take the persevere action, which is going to repeat their recruit action. All right. So they're going to be taking a recruit action. So they're going to take the recruit action. That is going to give us a kick-out action. That is great. And now they are going to recruit. They're going to recruit a unit type that they have the fewest of on the board. Well, currently they have 3 infantry, 2 cavalry, and 2 archers. So it's going to be either a cavalry or archer. And in this case, neither the archers or cavalry have been upgraded. So it will be an archer. And they're going to randomly place that archer in a province closest to us. So that will be Thuringia or Tuscany. Odd, even. It is even, so they're going to be placing it in Tuscany. All right, now they're going to roll for an upgrade. And they need to get a 1 through, I'm going to double check that real quick. A 16 to 20 would upgrade the unit they just placed. Okay, here's the roll. The roll is a 13, so no upgrade. That will end their turn. Now we get to take our kick out. Our choices for the kick out will be a recruit action or a regroup. The advantage of the regroup action is we don't have to do an army limit check. However, when performing the regroup, we cannot move our units into an opponent's controlled or barbarian occupied province. So we have to move in friendly areas. I don't have any supplies to recruit, so we are going to be taking the regroup action, and we will move our noble to the used nobles area. And I think with that regroup action, we're going to move a archer and an infantry back into Austria, as that is the target of any barbarian, I should say Magyar raiders. It will be the target of the raiders. So we'll get some defense back there. Now we have keep, which is going to give us a +1 die roll modifier. And then the fact that it is city will give us a transient archer. In addition, that keep will also give us 1 battle strength when we are defending that location with the keep. All right, we're up next. I've got 2 nobles left, and I think I'm going to use that noble for a development of culture action. I'd like to take that reinforce card off of the display. So we'll place our development of culture, and I'm eligible to take either of these 2 cards. And I think I'm going to take the reinforce card, get that off there. If that drops, the raiders would be getting an upgrade. So we will take that card. These are going to slide down. It gives me access now to the advanced farming. And the next card is Monopoly on Iron. And for the first level, immediately after you pass, you receive 1 iron. So that's kind of an interesting card. Keep that in mind for the future. So we've got 4 cards in our hand right now, and the lordlings will continue. And their card is a rush card. Okay, that is not going to be able to be used. Otherwise, draw another instead and shuffle the card back. So we'll shuffle that back in, draw another card, and this one is a build action. Okay, let's shuffle this card back into their total, and then we're going to perform a build action for the lordlings. And here's the roll for the build. They rolled a 10, and that's going to be build 1 level of keep, most adjacent controlled provinces. All right, so they'll be using one of their nobles and placing that on the build action. That is going to give us a kick out action. That is great. So they're taking the build action, and we get a kick out action. It'll either be regroup or take a wood or stone. All right, they're going to select a city of theirs that is the closest to us, and we would tie break it. The 2 closest cities would be Thuringia and Tuscany. So we'll make a roll and find out where they are going to build that keep. Odd for Thuringia, even for Tuscany. It is odd, so they will be placing a keep in Thuringia. Now we get to take our kick out action. And I think we are going to take wood or stone. And I guess we will take a wood. Place that noble in the exhausted nobles area, and we'll gain a wood. So we're going to gain our wood resource, and then it's our turn. We have 1 noble left, so our options would be, if we can find a use for that noble, we could take an action. Otherwise, we can pass. And then that would minimize the types of kick-out actions that the opponents would get. I think we are going to take an action. I'm going to use my noble for a build action, and we're going to spend 1 wood to upgrade our warehouse up to that next level. That's going to give us 1 cell and 2 holds. So that was a build action, and that's going to give us a kick-out action on top of it. So our choices would be wood or stone or regroup. I think in this case we are going to take the stone, and I'll gain a stone token. Lordlings are up next, and they have the rush card. So they are going to 2 or fewer lordling nobles. So they're going to take their pass action, and we'll check to see if there are any regions that they can gain those title cards. There are not, so they will conduct their pass. Begin the pass with discarding the leftmost card. That was that St. Maxim's Abbey. These will slide down. Next card is an upgrade, military upgrade, level 2 crossbowman or level 3 armored infantry. We've already determined that the lordlings are not entitled to any title cards, so they're going to reclaim all of their tokens from the board. Their lordling deck is going to be reshuffled. Then the lordlings are going to gain 2 culture points, giving them full access to 3 cards and approaching that 4th card now. And then they're going to gain victory points for the number of provinces that they control. They control 5 provinces. That's going to net them 3 victory points. And this is going to move their victory points up from 38 to 41, and we have 29 currently. We're up next, and we have no noble tokens left, so we're going to pass. We'll discard the leftmost card in the display, and we'll see what else comes up. This one is leagues. We're not entitled to any new titles. We'd have to conquer at least 1 more province in Bohemia in order to qualify for that. Next on the list, we'll get all of our nobles back. Then we'll consult our warehouse. Now we have finally made some advancements in the warehouse. That's going to give us 1 cell and 2 holds. And I think we're going to sell this stone that we have. It's going to give us 2 movements on the culture track. So we'll advance up 2 on the culture track. Not quite enough to get our card number 3 slot, but getting closer. All right, now we're going to gather our resources. We're going to get a stone from Verona, an iron from Carinthia, and then a leather and wood from Austria. We don't have control. Oh, we do have control over Bohemia as well, because that is being militarily controlled. We'll get another wood for that. So we've gained a total of 2 wood, a stone, iron, and a leather. And finally, we're going to gain a gold, and we're going to reorientate our title so that we can use it again in the next turn. And that completes our round. We'll go back to the lordlings. All right, the lordlings are going to be up next, and we'll just take a quick check now on our victory conditions. We still have quite a few cards left in the deck, so that won't be a problem. There are a total of 5 churches left and 5 cities. The lordling common technologies and military upgrades right now are equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. They have to get to 9 for that to be a endgame condition. The other endgame situation would be our culture track, and we're barely at halfway with that. So it looks like right now the churches and cities will probably be the most likely method of instituting the end of the game. We'll continue on with the lordlings. Their new draw is a persevere card. If it's the first card, draw another and reshuffle. So that will be reshuffled in. Next card is persevere, same thing. And the next card is a build action. All right, so they're going to be taking a build action. We'll make a d20 roll and see what they're building. Result is an 8, and they're going to build a city and gain 2 culture. Let's see if that is possible. Yes, it is. The only location that is viable for that is Franconia. So they'll be placing a city in Franconia, integrating in the leather works area. They're also going to gain 2 on the culture track. So they will move up 2 on the culture track. That's going to eliminate this gold coin that we could have gotten. Now that gives them their rightmost card is in the 4th position. Now we are up next. I think we are going to play the Great St. Martin Church in Cologne. Play instead of placing a noble. Immediate, gain 1 victory point for each neighboring province without a church. At the end of the game, receive 2 victory points for each neighboring province with a church. All right. Now to construct that is going to cost us a stone and a wood. All right, and I think we're going to place that, well, we'll take a close look at the map. And I'm going to build a great building in Austria. That says we gain 1 victory point for each adjacent province that does not have a church. So we're going to be gaining 1, 2, 3, 4 victory points. So we'll increase our total by 4. Right now the score is 41 to 33. And we'll return back to the Lordlings. And they've got a recruit action. All right, they're going to take a recruit. We'll make a roll and see if they have an upgrade. The result is an 8. They have no upgrade, so we'll see what kind of recruit they're going to be placing. All right, they have a total of 3 infantry, 2 cavalry, and 3 archers. So it's going to be a cavalry unit. And they're going to be placing that in the province closest to us. So that will be either Thuringia in relation to Bohemia or Tuscany in relation to Verona. So we're going to make a die roll and find out where it is going. And we'll use odd and even again. In this case it is even. They're going to be placing a cavalry unit in Tuscany. They have quite a large force there. And I think we are going to take a development of culture action. So we'll place that development of culture token. And it gives us access now to, well, we're still limited to these 2 cards, the Sandals of Jesus Christ or a level 2 upgrade for our knights. And I think I'm going to take these Sandals of Jesus Christ. You may build this church for free. So we're able to use this relic and then declare that we're going to build the church, and it would be built for free. So that's pretty good. So we'll slide these cards down. And I have a hunch we're going to be getting a raider card pretty soon. And we've got levied archers. All right. Okay, the Lordlings are up next. Their card is a rush card. Okay, that cannot be played. There's more than 2 nobles available. So we're going to shuffle that back in. Draw another card. This is a settle action. And I don't know if they can perform that. Yes, they can. It has to be performed in Thuringia. So that will allow them to place a farm on a random lordly controlled province that does not have a farm. That's going to move their supply level up to 7. And the only province that they control that does not have a farm is in Thuringia, so we'll place it there. And we are up next, and we have some resources, so I think we are going to do a recruit action. And we will place that noble on the recruit action. That is the 2nd disc there, the Lordlings will get a kick out if a third one is placed there. And let's see what we want to build. Well, I think we're going to build another heavy crossbowman. That's going to cost us a leather and an iron. And I think we're going to recruit that crossbowman in Austria. And the Lordlings are up next. You'll have to add that rush card, shuffle that back into the deck before we draw. And we're ready to draw now, and this one is a persevere card, so they would attempt to do that settle action again, but it says ignore settle. Perform the previous Lordling card again, ignoring settle. So we'll see what the previous card to that was, and that was a recruit action. So they are going to do another recruit action. That recruit action is going to give them a kick-out action. And I think for their kick-out action, they're going to end up taking a recruit as well, so they'll have 2 recruit actions in a row. All right, for the first recruit, they have a total of 3 of each type of unit, 3 cavalry, 3 infantry, and 3 archers. So they'll be placing an infantry unit for the first recruit action, and that's going to go in the nearest province to us. So that will be either Thuringia or Tuscany. We'll make a d6 roll, odd and even. It is an even roll, and it's going to be placed in Tuscany. Now for their second recruit action, they've got 4 infantry now, 3 archers, and 3 cavalry. So it's going to be a archer will be coming out, and it will be in the same 2 locations. And we'll make a roll, odd and even. This time it's odd, and they're going to place that in Thuringia. All right.